Okay, so a question that I get all the time is how do I install Facebook? And if you already have a Facebook account or you're somewhat technical, then this video is going to bore you out of your mind and you probably don't want to watch it. But for everybody else, this is really just going to explain how to install Facebook and how to get up and running with Facebook. Now, you don't technically have anything that you have to install. Facebook is a software platform application that is available on the internet. Meaning, if you have a computer that can connect to the internet, you can get to Facebook. If you have a tablet that can connect to the internet, you can get to Facebook. If you have a smartphone that has a cell phone connection, then you can get to Facebook. So Facebook doesn't really have anything that you have to download or install in order to use it. So the easy part is all you need to do is have access to the internet. If you don't have access to the internet, then you can't get to Facebook easily. Now, the number one thing that you have to get into Facebook is an email account. If you have an email account and right now you're over the age of 13, then you should be fine to get into Facebook. But if you don't have an email account, then you should get an email account set up first so you can access Facebook. There is no way around this. You must have an email account to get into Facebook. So let's talk about email accounts for a second. There are many, many free services that you can use that do not charge you a dime to set up your email. I prefer Gmail, and I've used them all. I've used way, way old ones like NetZero, which came on a CD around the time of AOL. I've used so many email providers. My personal favorite is Gmail, easy to use, not a lot of hassles, don't have to move ads out of the way. I had a Yahoo email address for years, and then they started putting ads like on half of the screen, and the only way you can get rid of the ads is if you pay. I'm not paying for email. It absolutely makes no sense to pay for email. Now, one other thing I want to mention. If you have an internet provider, which is probably your cable company, they also offer you a free email. You can set that up, but I don't prefer to do that. And here's why. A couple of reasons. Say I had a Bell South phone, cable, internet service that I paid for. So I had an email that was bethany@bellsouth.net. Well, then AT&T bought Bell South. So my Bell South email still worked, but now it was a lot harder to check it and get to it. And this was way before smartphones. So I had to check it on my computer. I actually had to dial up. And for those of you that are too young to know what dial up is, it was painfully, painfully slow. It was actually connecting a phone wire, landline, telephone, dial tone, hello, to your computer. And it would send these sounds that were like a fax, and it would transfer those sounds from sound into data over tiny little packets. So it's like these tiny little pieces of data that just slowly go through your phone line. I've had them all. Now, why I don't prefer my cable internet provider email is also because if for whatever reason I cancel that service, I know cell phones and cable are kind of like you don't like them, but you like them more than having to call and cancel and call another company and get new service and set an install date and get new equipment. So you just kind of leave it how it is. But say you cancel and you have Verizon email account, because Verizon's your phone and your cable and your TV. And then you cancel Verizon. Well, everybody you know has this Verizon email. What do? You have to get a new email. So to avoid all that, and I'm just sharing my experiences and the pains, my mom basically got to the point that she would write my phone numbers and my emails in pencil in her address book because I change them so often. So I just don't want you to go through that same headache or your loved ones. So let's say you need to set up an email, you set up a Gmail account. I'm sorry I got off track. You need to set up a Gmail account or a free email anywhere. No matter where you choose to set it up, there are hundreds of millions of people that have probably also set up an email on that same system. Why I want you to know that is because your name is probably taken. Your nickname is probably taken. What everyone knows you as is probably taken. So just setting the expectation up front that whatever name you want, probably gone. But that's okay. We can fix that. So if you Google or search, set up a Gmail account, Gmail, email, Google email, all of those things will bring you to this screen that looks like this that says, hey, set up a free Gmail account. Now, Gmail wants you to be a person. Google wants you to be an actual person. If you are using your Google account for business, they want you to have a business Gmail account. So for our terms and for our purposes today, we're just going to talk about a regular Google personal email account. Okay? Now, I get here and I say, oh, my name is Bethany. And I say, oh, I want Bethany. That username is taken. Of course it is. And I didn't plan this. So this is just me being, let me show you how many people are probably taken. Let's just keep this the same. Let's say Bethany Johnson. Okay. Let's say Bethany Waller. Okay. Let's say Bethany whatever was going to be taken. So let's try this. This is like my first trick. Bethany 1. Bethany 17. Bethany 17. Now, you have to create a password. And if you have a computer and you have multiple accounts, I know this is a hassle. So my password trick is I would use the first 3 letters of whatever I'm on, and I would choose something that was the same at the end. So say I'm going to choose Google. I'm on Google. So I'm going to say my password is GOO, first 3 letters. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because I'm saying just 5 characters. And then I want something tricky like exclamation. I'm going to write that down. So make sure you have a pen and paper handy because I have a young mind and I forget stuff all the time. So I'm going to write down my email address, which I set up Bethany 17, and I did the password is GOO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation or whatever it is. So what I'm going to do, I have to type that exactly the same twice. So as soon as and you might want to write it down before you type it. Also keep in mind it is case sensitive. So if you do a capital G, you have to do a capital G when you type the password every single time. So it's just write down if anything is uppercase or lowercase. Let me type it twice. It gives me this little bar that says, oh, your password strength is good. Oh, it's not good. Oh, what is it? And of course, it'll say the passwords don't match because you're human, and I'm not going to edit human. Now, birthday. A lot of electronic accounts, software, things online, they want you to be over a certain age. I'm pretty sure it's 13 for most things. And this is not my birthday because I don't know who's going to see this video. So I'm going to say I was born January 1st. I'm a New Year's baby. Not really. 19. How old do I want to be? Say I was born in 86 because I want to be young today. I'm going to write that down because I'm going to forget that too. You need to know this if you have to reset your password. Mobile phone Oh, you have to say gender. Well, you don't have to say gender. You can say you're an other or rather not say. A lot of times when companies ask for this information, it's because they're gathering data. They want to know how many women do we have that have a Gmail account? How many men do we have? How many are 30? How many are 50? How many are 90? So it's nothing to be alarmed by, but you can opt out in most cases of anything that's related to demographics, personal information that you absolutely do not want to share. Birthday is validating that you're old enough to use the system. It's not really validating with anybody though. You have to have a current email address, which is kind of silly, but they use this in case you can't get into your account. And let me see if it'll let me do it without it. I'm wrong. You don't have to have an email address. Because it's kind of backwards if you're going to set up your email address for the first time and you don't have an email. Okay. Now, if you do have another email that you use, but maybe not as frequently, then you can use that. All my password things pop up. Then you can use that, and that will be used for a backup. So if you ever lock yourself out and you're like, what is my password? Why did I not listen to Bethany and write my password down? And I just thought I was going to remember it. And I never do. So maybe you will. Now, so I have an email account, right? So now I can go set up Facebook. And it'll say, welcome, Bethany. And it'll start to walk me through a little tour, tell me how to use it. If you've never been here before, just spend a couple minutes and go through the tour. If you don't have time, go through it later. Now we can go back to Facebook. How to install Facebook. You go to facebook.com, must be on the internet, can be on any type of device on the internet. It's not a mobile app, it is a website. So you can open a browser, just like you're watching on YouTube. Somehow, magically, you got to this video and you're on the internet watching it. So you can open another browser or tab or window and go to facebook.com, and it's going to say, sign up for free. It's free and will always be free. So I'm going to do the same name, Bethany. Mobile, phone number, or email. You can have a mobile phone number, but you will require an email for certain things that I want to make sure that you guys do. So I would rather you just sign up with an email, but if you prefer, you can use your mobile number. I'm going to say Bethany17@gmail.com. Here goes that password again. So if you use my little trick and you do the first three letters, then this would be face. Oh, that's not face. Face 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation. Because remember I said the first three letters of the system, and then something that will always stay the same or will never change, not change that often. You can do the year, and sometimes you can do like a season or a food, or you want to kind of stay away from pet names, your high school mascots, children names, because all of those can be guessed. And a lot of times there's enough data about us that people can find that information. So keep it something that's not identified and not directly connected to you, but you can make this process simple. Okay, face 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, what was this field? Was this not? What was this field? Wasn't this email? Yeah, I did my email. Bethany17. Why did it just ask me for one password and it didn't ask for the other? I have to enter my email address twice? Okay, my bad, that changed. I thought that was my password. Bethany. It asked me for my email address twice. They must want me to give my mobile and my email. But since I'm not, I just have to do my email twice. That's silly. Okay, back to my password. Okay, birthday again. I'm going to use the same fake one I used a second ago, even though this is not going with the policy and terms and conditions of the provider. Should not be lying about my birthday. But how many women tell the truth about their birthday anyway? Okay, so I said January 1st, 1986. Here, I don't have a choice. I have to say male, female. We'll choose female. And I'm creating an account. This is why you need an email. I can't even get into Facebook until I confirm with Facebook that is my email. So you have to have an email and probably a mobile phone now to even connect to Facebook. You're not just putting it in there so you can give them a dummy address and get in there. It actually has to be a working email that you have access to. Okay, this explains, like I told you, there'll be a couple screens that explain how Google works. Look, 30132. Now, I went back into email to look for the email from Facebook that I can confirm. So I can do two things. The easiest thing right now is to just confirm my account here. This is the button that's clickable. It doesn't say other than that. It just assumes that you know to click this button. So I can click confirm your account, and that should take me into Facebook. Now, from here, Facebook will walk you through a few steps to just try and find people you know, try and find the interests that you have, so it gives you things that are valuable to you. So if they ask you too many questions, most of the things you can skip. You don't have to do them right now. But if you want to see something that someone is sending you, or you want to communicate with people through Facebook, you have to have an email account, you have to have access to that email, and you have to have access to the internet through a computer, a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, or your smartphone. And that's it. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. You can also go to my website to get a checklist, which is kind of a cheat sheet for many, many things that might seem technical, but I try to make them simple and easy so they are not technical and you don't break out in a sweat. So check out my other videos and I'd love to get your feedback. Yay, I'm in Facebook. Bye.